Movie Recaps presents Seven. The movie opens with Detective Somerset at a murder scene as he meets Detective Mills, a young and short-tempered cop who he is training as his replacement. Somerset offers to sit down with Mills and get to know each other, but Mills just wants to get to work. The next day they arrive at a murder scene where a grossly obese man has died at his kitchen table with his legs and hands bound. We see that there is tension between the two detectives because Mills is a brash and impulsive, and Somerset has seen too much in his career. At the morgue, they find that the man had a gun pressed against his head and was forced to eat until his stomach burst. Somerset tries to explain to the captain that this killer is smart and is trying to make a statement with his kills, but the captain isn't buying it. Somerset wants to be transferred, but the captain says no and puts Mills on another case. Mills goes to the murder scene where a lawyer was murdered and the word greed has been written in his blood. A framed photo of the man's wife has bloody circles around the eyes. Back at the station, the captain questions Somerset's retirement, and Somerset tells him that he just doesn't understand the world. The depravity and violence is overwhelming, and he doesn't want it anymore. The captain gives Somerset a small vial of plastic shavings that were found in the obese man's stomach, which were force-fed to him. Somerset goes back to the murder scene and finds that the fragments were from the floor near the refrigerator. He moves it and finds the word gluttony written in grease on the wall and a note that has a quote from Milton's Paradise Lost. Somerset tells the captain and Mills about the 7 deadly sins and tells them to expect 5 more murders. Somerset does not want to be involved and leaves. Later that night, he goes to the library and does some research into Paradise Lost, as well as other books, and puts it all into an envelope for Mills. The next day, Mills is frustrated with the new research and has someone bring him the cliff notes of the books to make it easier for him. Back at the station, Mills goes to his new office with Somerset. He gets a call from his wife, and she asks to talk to Somerset. She invites him for dinner, and he accepts. Somerset meets Mills' wife, Tracy, and they have a nice meal. Later on, Somerset and Mills go through their case for clues. They realize that no fingerprints were found at any of the scenes, and there's never been an eyewitness. The greed case had the lawyer cut off a pound of his own flesh. They also see the photo of the wife again and decide to go talk with her. She is very distraught, but manages to see that the painting on the wall is now upside down. They go to the scene and check the painting, and find the words, "Help me," written on the wall in fingerprints. A match comes back, and the police get ready to raid the apartment of a man called Victor. Mills and Somerset do not think that this is their guy. They enter the apartment and find the corpse of a man that has been tied to the bed and the word sloth written on the wall. They find photos of the man that someone took over the course of a year, showing his slow deterioration. Suddenly, the corpse thrashes about, showing that he is barely alive. He is rushed to the hospital. Somerset tries to calm Mills down, and as they talk, someone takes their photo. Mills explodes at the guy, and in the heat of the moment gives his name. Somerset explains that some reporters pay police well for information, and that's how they get to crime scenes so fast. They go to the hospital to see if Victor can talk, but the doctor says he will die soon and can't even speak. At home, Somerset gets a call and goes to a diner. The call came from Tracy. She doesn't have any friends and needed to talk to someone. She hates living there and is worried now because she is pregnant. Somerset says that if she decides to not keep the baby, she should never tell Mills that she was pregnant. She is grateful for the talk. As Mills and Somerset go over the cases, Somerset gets an idea. He meets with a mysterious guy and pays him some money, and the guy leaves. As they wait and Mills is getting angrier, Somerset tells him that the guy is from the FBI, and he brings them records of people checking out books from the library. It is not legal and cannot be used in court, but it is a guide to see who is checking out what books. They find the name John Doe, who has checked out many of the books, and decide to pay him a visit. They go to the apartment and get to the door, and down the hall a man walks toward them with groceries, and then suddenly opens fire on them. Mills runs after the man, and they exchange gunfire. The chase ends in an alleyway, and Mills gets hit by the killer. The killer grabs his gun and puts it to Mills' head. He doesn't fire, and he simply runs off. Angry, Mills wants to go into the apartment, but can't because of how they got the information. Mills kicks the door in anyway, but gets an idea and goes out and pays off a street person to say that she called the police on the guy because he was being suspicious around the times of the murders, and they are allowed to go in. They check everywhere around the home and can't find one fingerprint. A receipt is found for a custom-made item from a leather shop pinned over the photo of a prostitute, as well as photos of Mills, meaning that the photographer was the killer. Somerset finds hundreds of journals, all filled with dangerous ramblings of the killer. A phone rings, and they find it. It is the killer congratulating them on surprising him, but he is not swayed from his task. They bring the receipt to the shop, and the guy there shows them a picture of the piece that he made, and tells them the guy paid in cash and that his name was John Doe. They get a call that the prostitute was found. They arrive and see the ungodly mess and the word lust written on the wall. At the scene, there's a hysterical man yelling for someone to get something off of him. At the station, they find out that the item that was created was a jagged and sharp sexual instrument that the killer strapped onto the man and forced him at gunpoint to have sex with the prostitute until she died. Mills and Somerset are called to another murder scene where a woman was forced to either take an overdose of pills and die, or call for help but be disfigured for life. The word pride is written at the scene. Mills and Somerset return to the station, and as they walk and talk, someone yells for them. They turn around, and there is the killer, with bandaged fingers, giving himself up. Mills loses it and demands that he get on the ground, and John Doe asks for his lawyer. As he is questioned, they realize that he's been cutting off his fingerprints, and that is why they haven't found any. Mills and Somerset agree that he wouldn't just stop, and that something else is going on. John Doe's lawyer says that John will sign a full confession if Mills and Somerset take him to the place where the next two victims are. Reluctantly, they agree, and the area they get to has communication interference because of the power lines that surround it. They get to the spot, and off in the distance a van comes driving towards them. Somerset jumps into the car and heads the van off. The man gets out and says that the guy paid him $500 to deliver a package to someone named Mills. Somerset tells the driver to run off as he examines the box. Somerset opens the box and is horrified by what he sees. As he rushes back, John Doe tells Mills that he envies him and that envy is his own sin. He says that he recently tried to pretend to have a normal life by visiting Tracy at their home, and he took a souvenir, which was her head. Somerset arrives and throws his gun away and demands that Mills give him his gun. John Doe says that she begged for her life and the life of her unborn baby, not realizing that Mills didn't know. John Doe has set into motion for Mills to become Wrath, and Mills shoots and kills John Doe in cold blood. At the end, Somerset decides to stay around and tells them that if Mills needs anything, he will be there for him. And with that, the movie ends. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave a like and subscribe. It will help my channel to grow and improve. Subscribe. It will help my channel to grow and improve.